Welcome to CW 4.7. Today we're going to wrap up the chapter with rational inequalities. So for your first note, all you want to do is kind of draw a box here. This is going to be your expression. And you need your expression to zero out, meaning you need your inequality and you need a zero right here. So put a big note. You need a zero. Very important. Now because of that, when you look at this problem right here, if you follow this, you will not get it wrong because it says you need a zero. What people want to do, or what they're inclined to do, is to multiply by x plus 3 like that. That's going to be called your fatal error. You never want to do that. If you do that, you've killed the problem and you're not going to get any credit. There's no partial credit for this because this is just not allowed. The reason for that is because it's an inequality, and if you multiply by a variable, you don't know the value of the x. So x could be positive or negative, so you really don't know what's going to happen with that symbol right there. So never ever multiply this, that's really bad. Again, that's your fatal error. Let's get rid of this and put a note here, fatal error, multiplying by a variable. And of course, that's going to apply to inequalities. For equations, it's fine, but for inequalities, you just can't do that. So let's move that 2 over. So we have something like this now. We have two expressions. We need a common denominator, so make that over 1. So you can multiply by x plus 3, top and bottom. Now let's keep going. X plus 1 minus 2x minus 6, all divided by x plus 3. That's going to be negative x minus 5 over x plus 3, and that would be greater than or equal to 0. Now, once you're at this point, it's very similar to yesterday's work. Write a z for zeros, and I can see my zeros here would be negative 5 and negative 3. Once you have that, we could graph this, but obviously graphing this is pretty hard. So the main method you're going to do is a sign chart. So start by making your number line. Negative 5, negative 3. Draw your dotted lines. And you're going to put the factors on the left. That's negative x minus 5, x plus 3, therefore. And now let's pick a number less than negative 5 and plug it in. Let's say I pick negative 10. Plug it in. I can see that's positive, negative, therefore the outcome is negative. I'll pick a number between here, say negative 4. This would be negative, negative, positive. And let's say here, I'll pick 0. That would be negative, positive, negative. Now from here, let's look at this. I can see that would be greater than 0, which means I want the positive answers. So I want this one right here. Now here's where you got to be careful. I know it's between negative 5 and negative 3. Now you got to look at where this came from. Negative 5 is a 0 on the top, right here, which means it can be equal to 0, because notice how it says greater than or equal to 0, so I can have this equal. But over here, I can't have the bottom be 0, so I got to put a parentheses there. And there's my final answer. Let's try a little harder one. From here, it's already factored, which is great, because that means I can just write my zeros right now. Negative 2, 3, and 5. Make your sign chart. Negative 2, 3, 5. Let's drop these down. And now let's put our factors on the left. X plus 2 squared, x minus 3, x minus 5. Therefore, let's pick numbers now. So let's say I pick like -5. I can see this is positive, and actually this whole row is positive because you're going to square it. So let's just write that in now. Let's plug in -5 to the second one. -8, so that's negative. The last one, that's negative. Therefore, positive. For the middle one, let's pick 0. So that would be negative, therefore positive. I'll pick 4 here. So that would be positive, negative, therefore negative. And the last one, let's say we pick like 10. This would be all positive. Right here it says less than 0, which means I want a negative answer. And there it is. Our answer is 3 to 5. And because there's no equal to, you just don't worry about it. So it's just parentheses here. But if it were equal to, then the bracket would have to be on this 3 because it came from the numerator. Okay, so that's the lesson. So good luck on the homework or the classwork, and let me know if you have any questions.